Hey, this is Pat, and today we're checking out the all-new Merlin Alton II D3O leather jacket. Now, the Alton II is going to be aimed at you classic, say, cafe racers, anybody out there looking for the classic British ton-up styling, but looking for a leather option with a little bit more seasonality to it. I'd say the Alton's going to be a great option for anybody looking to ride in, say, the early spring, late fall, some of the cooler days in the summer. There is perforation, there is ventilation, but it is a pretty thick cowhide main construction, so just keep that in mind. But I like that Merlin is taking that into consideration. Typically, we see a lot of more British style and British design to their pieces, aimed at cooler and wet riding out there. But I think the Alton II is a great option for the US market within their line. Now, this comes in at $400, comes in sizes ranging from 38 up to size 50, and comes in two colorways, a black and a brown, which we have Spurgeon wearing the brown on my left, which is a much darker brown than some would expect. But again, I think it looks fantastic in person. But before I get too long-winded on the features, let's talk about the overall fit. Spurgeon on my left is 220 pounds, 6'3" with a 44-inch chest, currently wearing a size 44 in the Alton II. It has a nice snug fit to it, considering he has the removable thermal vest liner in there still. If, like Spurgeon would, you're riding without that, that's going to be a nice comfortable fit, but that matches the sizing chart true to size when we look at his 44-inch chest measurement. So reference that size chart, reference your measurements, and you should be all set. And just know that it's going to be a nice snug leather fitment for you in the riding position. But let's talk about the main features. Like I mentioned before, it is an aniline dyed cowhide. It's got a really nice hand to it. Spurgeon and I were actually talking about that just before shooting this video. Almost feels like a suede to it, but it is an aniline dyed cowhide. Up at the top collar, you do have a two-position snap with a fold away. You can see Spurgeon's actually got it tucked away in there, so it's not flapping in the wind should you want to add that and open that for a little bit more ventilation. Coming down the collarbone, you have a nice clean leather design with some accent stitching on the outer side of the shoulder with some perforated cowhide at the armpit. Again, keep in mind that's ventilation that you can't turn off. A little bit of pre-curve running down the sleeve, and at the shoulder as well as the elbow, you're gonna get D3O LP1 armor right there. That's CE level 1 armor included at both the shoulder and the elbow with a pocket to add the back should you want. Looking down at the lower entry of the sleeve, it is a YKK zipper main construction with a two-position snap closure. Just keep in mind, if you are putting this on your bike, or it's like pinning a corsage. If you are riding on your bike, just keep that in mind, because that's going to be somewhere where you lean on your gas tank. That metal is going to make sure that it's going to scratch your tank. So just keep that in mind. Merlin, if you're listening, I'd love to see you update that in the next edition. So as we go up to the chest, you're going to notice two slit vents up at the top. If you remove that thermal vest liner, that's going to go direct through to your body, as well as a Merlin stitch logo over on the left-hand side. Two hand warmer pockets accompany each side, and then you have a YKK zipper running in down to a Velcro tab closure at the base, so you don't scratch your tank in the riding position. Spurgeon, you can go ahead and turn left and hit that riding position for me. At the side, we got a lot going on. Again, I mentioned it before, you do have that perforated cowhide up at the elbow, as well as some gussets behind the shoulder blade, just helping getting into that riding position. If you're on a cafe bike with a little bit of lowered bars in the front, it's going to be a little bit more comfortable in that riding position. You do have what can be an intake vent. I see it more as an exhaust vent because it's so far to the back, and that's going to help exhaust that air coming in through the armpits, going to help it remove from the jacket a little bit easier. Spurgeon, go ahead and turn to the back for me. One more exhaust vent up at the top is going to be a horizontal one across the upper spine, as well as a Merlin logo at the back of the collar. Otherwise, though, the back is nice and clean. Again, you can add a back protector. We always recommend that. You can add a back protector into this, whether you choose a D3O Viper or another brand, will fit in there. And then you have a drop seat down at the base just for that more aggressive riding position. It's not going to be showing anything off that you don't want shown to the car behind you. Go ahead and turn to the front for me and go ahead and unzip and show them the interior. When we look at the interior of the jacket, again, there's going to be a drop 100-gram thermal vest liner that you can remove out. That just horseshoe zips out from inside, going to help remove that and can turn into more of a summer-oriented riding jacket. Underneath there, though, is just some mesh liner, some stash pockets, as well as a belt loop and connection zipper should you want to attach it to your riding pants. You can go ahead and zip that up for me. So again, all in, I think the Alton is a great design and a great way for the British manufacturer of Merlin to look at the US market. It's going going to have ventilation, it's going to have that classic British design, and it's going to have that drop 100-gram thermal liner just to help extend the seasonality in either direction. And again, once you see the leather in person, it has a great hand to it, has a great look to it, especially in this brown colorway. But if you have any other questions, feel free to click that info button. That's going to take you over to the product page where you can read other rider reviews and see what other riders are saying about this jacket. And if you still have questions after that, or if you have questions on the sizing, feel free to reach out to our customer service team. They're all riders, happy to help you get set up for your next ride. I want to thank you for joining Spurgeon and I and checking out the all-new Merlin Alton II D3O jacket. I'm Pat, and I'll see you in the next video.